Hello, and welcome to episode 201 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right. Just a couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers, talking about Magic the Gathering, in particular, the online client, MTG Arena.
That is right, and this week is one of my favorite episodes where we get to talk about the new cards for Edge of Eternities. It's our pre-game as the pre-release is this weekend, and the set comes out on Arena next Tuesday, so very, very soon. And we will be going through cards that we think are worth taking over other cards in your draft formats, as well as we're playing our challenge, the Pack Zero Pick One challenge made by Magic Data Science on Twitter and Blue Sky. But anyway, before we get into all that stuff, all the fun things, each week we bring a beer, we drink it, we rate it on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap?
All right, tonight we have Iris. It's a beer by Slake. It's an
Mm-hmm.
IPA. And on the side of the can, it says Stone Fruit Hazy Juicy. So that makes me think it's an East Coast style IPA. It shouldn't be a bit juicier, hazier. That's what we like here. So that's good news and bad news for this beer because it means I'm probably going to like it. But it also means it's up against some stiff competition. I've had a lot of East Coast IPAs, and there
Mm-hmm.
are some that are very good. So
It's true.
beers in this category tend to be scrutinized a little more, I find. But hey, bring it on.
Yeah, let's put it to the test. Let's see if Iris can really beat out some of these other beers. But
Yeah,
anyway, Jeff, let's crack it open.
let's crack it.
With that, we do have some magic news. As I said earlier, Edge of Eternities comes out next week on Arena. The pre-release is this weekend, so make sure to get out to your local game stores, play some Magic, meet some folks, have some beers, and have a great time. Also, with this set coming out, standard rotation is happening. So next Tuesday, the 29th of July, rotation for standard will go into effect. So we will be losing the formats, which are the ones, if I can remember off the top of my head,
Yeah.
Dominaria United, the Brothers War, Phyrexia All Will Be One, and March of the Machine. And I think that's all. Those are all the
All the
sets, right?
Dominaria themed stuff,
Yeah.
basically. Um, finally, the
Oh,
plague that is Shieldred shall be gone.
finally, yes. Shieldred will finally be gone, as well as the poison deck. Oh, obviously it wasn't around for a long time. Did not survive this late in the game, but that deck is officially out of standard. Makes me sad. I loved that deck. Sunfall will be gone, as well as temporary lockdown.
Oh, yes.
Amazing. So
The card
some
that hoses everything I try to do.
yes. We will look at some cards and see maybe if there's a couple of replacements for the ones that I just mentioned. So
Yes,
maybe
yes,
there's a
but they're
couple
weaker.
cards that just go straight into that slot. But anyway, so, having standard rotation is always one of the most exciting parts of Magic, and this is the last time we will be having standard rotation at this period. Like we will after next week we will no longer be having rotation in the middle of the year or close to the beginning of the basically the fall semester. It will no longer go with the school year. It will be moved to the beginning of the actual calendar year, which I think makes way more sense.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, start fresh. Start fresh in the new year. New standard format. I think that's nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Feels like forever since we had a rotation, kind of because it has been.
Yeah.
And there are some cards that, like, all the cards we mentioned that are going, I don't mind them that much. It's
Hmm.
just like enough. The point of standard is that things change. And it's like,
Yeah.
I've been worrying about temporary lockdown long enough, I think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where it is a really tight balance of like, how can we make it complete, like constantly churning so it's more interesting and you can do a bunch of different things, but also make sure that your cards can be played for a long period of time. But
hmm
also, if decks are changing, then your deck will just fall out of the meta. That is, unless there's bans, and then it will just be obliterated. But it's just one
Right.
of those. It's a very hard balance to hit. So obviously,
Very
there's a lot of
delicate. Yeah.
there's a lot of criticisms that you can kind of attack the company that makes him sound so evil.
Jeez.
Watsy for. But I think they're doing a pretty good job, and I think William Huey Jensen, still being in charge of like all the standard, revival and all this stuff, is continuing to be a great thing. And I'm always enjoying what he's doing with these things. And I think I've come around a little bit on the 3-year standard, especially now that we're having a million sets. Like standard's just going to be big now, and
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
And it reminds me a little bit like when Wandering Emperor rotated out. I had nothing against Emperor really. I actually really
Hmm.
liked that card. I thought it was a
Yeah.
cool card. But I spent 2 years not attacking with my best creatures
Hmm.
into 4 open mana with double white from my
Yeah.
opponents. And it's just nice to have a different play pattern now. Like
Hmm.
I was happy to see that card rotate, even though I really liked it, played it a little bit myself, and didn't
Hmm.
mind playing against it. It's just that you always had to be
Thinking
wary
about
of
it.
it when your
Yeah.
opponent had the mana up, and they always passed with 2 white white. And you're like, okay, what can I attack with? What can I not attack with? And after 2 years of that same play pattern, it's like I wouldn't mind if I could just attack freely on turn 4 and not have to
Yeah.
worry about this. And like now I worry about Sunfall next turn, so maybe I don't overextend or whatever. But it's just nice to worry about different things and have different play patterns.
Exactly.
And the not being able to play out or like wanting not to play my best 2 drop because I know they're probably going to temporary lockdown it away and like hold my better one for later is fine. It's a fine play pattern, but like enough's enough, kind of. Like let's
Hmm.
just maybe it would just be nice if I could just play my best 2 drop on turn two. Like
Yeah, yeah. I thought the one thing with temporary lockdown, which like I didn't utilize very well because I like playing ones and twos; those are my favorites.
mhm.
But sideboarding into a deck that cares more about your 3 drops, and then it made that card bad, or it's like they can play it, but that you don't wipe your whole board, and you still have a bunch of issues. And I
Oh,
think
I
like
had
the some of the black mid range decks would do a lot of stuff with that, where it's just like, yeah, we're still playing the like that freaking 3 mana 2/4 death touch guy that like
yeah,
fucks you up. And you're like, this is so annoying.
the preacher or whatever.
The preacher,
Preacher
yeah,
of the
schism.
um I've had multiple opponents wipe away their own rest in peace
Mm,
because they side in rest in peace against me, but temporary lockdown is also good against me, so they leave that
hmm.
in, and then get this awkward scenario where I just am beating them in the face with a couple of 2 drops, and they're like, "Well, I guess I got to lock down and exile my own rest in peace."
Yeah, and you're like, sweet, okay, now I
Yeah,
can build up something
the
else.
card totally hoses me, so
Hmm. This is super
thank you for
helpful.
taking it off the battlefield.
Yeah. We'll probably be coming back to these cards in a little bit. But there are new cards to talk about. And I'm not even
Yes.
talking about Edge of Eternities. I am talking about the fact that Comic Con is happening right now or this weekend or something. And there's a bunch of freaking Spider Man spoilers. What?
When I saw these strolling in, like streaming in through Reddit or whatever feed it was that I was getting these, I was like, the new set is dropping on Tuesday. The
Hmm.
pre-release is this weekend, and they're trying to
And there
hype me
are
up for the next set. Like, come on.
it it really is unfortunate. I feel like like Watsu's scheduling again with spoilers gets it's just so frustrating.
I know they
Like,
don't choose when Comic-Con is, and obviously it makes sense to do this at
yeah.
Comic-Con or whatever.
Mhm.
But, they choose when everything else happens. So
Yeah. It is the kind of thing like maybe we can try to work around. I mean, like they could do
maybe
what
don't
we
have it be pre-release weekend that I'm
yeah.
getting spoilers for the next set. Come
It's
on.
crazy. It's so insane. Um so if you want to go check out Spider-Man spoilers, you can. I've looked at them, but it was the kind of thing where like I'm literally in the streamer event for Edge of Eternities, and people
Right.
are asking me what I think about the Spider-Man spoilers. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm playing Edge of Eternities right now, and they're
These
like,
cards
oh,
are also brand new. It's like,
yeah,
nah, that's old news, man.
no, no, I've already seen all those ones. That's been out for 5 days. It's like, oh gosh. So it really just shows you that players, a huge part of Magic, what people love is looking at new cards and speculating is like such a gigantic part of Magic.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
that
is what we're
like,
going to be doing today, to be fair.
exactly. Yeah. And it is really fun. And I do agree with that. But it really means that like, oh, new cards to talk about are great. A ton of the cards are from, honestly, I can give you the Cliffs Notes of the spoilers so you don't have to go look at the Spider-Man ones. A bunch of them are from the welcome decks, so they're not really worth looking at because they're all garbage.
Oh, that's why they were so shit. I was like, what are
Yes.
these cards that I'm seeing? Like,
Yeah,
they're so
yeah.
bad.
I know. So if you see the symbol that looks like Spider-Man's mask, it's like a circle with Spider-Man's
Yeah.
face. Those are from the actual set.
Okay.
If you see the ones with the Spider-Man logo with the spider, it looks really cool. Those are from the welcome decks.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
those ones are
because
bad.
all those cards are like pretty bad, and I was like, "Yikes! These are the cards we're supposed to be
Then I
excited about."
randomly saw the like Peter Porker guy who was good. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that card's good.
and that's in the regular set.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's your little, little cheat sheet. If it's got the Spider-Man mask, it's in the main set. It's great. They're all going to be standard legal, but it does mean that. Sorry, now I'm talking way too much about Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do this. Apologies to all those folks who don't want to listen to Spider-Man
We're
shit right
doing
now.
we've become the enemy.
I know. I'm literally
We've
complaining
lived
about people
long
doing
enough to
this.
become the villain.
It sucks, but just a heads up. When that set drops, the welcome decks. Whenever you go into a store, you can ask for welcome decks. They're free, and they're a way to teach new players how to play the game. They are going to be Spider-Man themed for the next year and a half, I guess. They usually have ones per rotation, I think. And these are just like 5 Spider-Man decks because, hey, what better way to get people playing Magic than give them Spider-Man stuff, I guess.
Hey man, people
So
love Spider-Man.
there you go. So time will tell whether that set sells as well as the Final Fantasy one, which is the best selling Magic set of all time. And apparently they made $200 million in one day on Final Fantasy. So
That's not bad.
that's not bad. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that happened. Also at Comic-Con, there were some Avatar spoilers. So that was just salt in the wound, I think.
Avatar spoilers. Give me a break.
Yeah, well, it's literally like people. I think it was like a promo card. That's like this is the promo you'll get from this thing. It's like
Ah,
why the fuck are you getting this? I don't know. Okay, sure. So if you want to check that out, that is also on the internet. But it just gives me the question like, why can't we just enjoy things, Jeff? Why can't I just enjoy? Why can't I just be excited to play this new set that's coming out?
why
I
am I
don't
supposed to
always.
be thinking about this so far in advance? Like, what
Yeah.
was this? A Christopher Nolan movie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jeff and I were just talking about apparently Christopher Nolan is selling tickets to his newest movie a year in advance. To be fair, that isn't literally Christopher Nolan selling the tickets, but
Yeah, I'm sure yeah, it's him in his backyard.
yeah,
A little
he's just
lemonade stand.
he's scalping. He's on the street.
Yeah. Tickets, get your
Yeah,
tickets.
get your tickets here for my newest film. I am still working on. Anyway, that is hilarious. But anyway, Jeff, let's talk about the set that's actually coming out. Let's do our own
Yes.
speculations slash
Which one is that again?
yeah, Edge of Eternities, the space
Ah,
one. Yes,
right.
the space
I
magic.
thought that one was like old news. I thought that was over actually.
Oh, well,
Rotating out.
it is, yeah. The Spider-Man is what everybody's talking about now, including the people on this podcast. Anyway, Jeff, it's our pregame episode. This is the episode
Yes.
usually before we get to play with the cards. However, I have had the opportunity to
Classic Zach cheating.
play with the cards. Well, Jeff, if we recorded on Tuesday, then maybe it would be different. But we were recording a little bit later this week. So we do two things. I talked about at the top of the episode. But Jeff, let's start with our no pass list. Can you explain to our audience what the no pass list is for those who do not remember?
Yes, absolutely. So, if you are a fan of both limited formats and constructed formats, we recommend making a no pass list because drafting can be one of the best ways to build your collection. But sometimes in the middle, in the heat of a draft, you don't know whether to take a card for your collection or a card for your draft deck. So, what we recommend doing is figuring out the cards that you actually actively want to play in
Hmm.
constructed ahead of time from the set. Make a little list with all of those called your no pass list. And then when you're drafting, you could just consult your list. Hey, is this one of the cards that I actively want and will take? And promised myself I would take over any draft uncommon or common,
Hmm.
or is it just a rare that looks cool? And that takes away that pressure of having to make that decision with 45 seconds on the clock in the middle of a draft. So,
Hmm.
um, and we recommend doing it. Take those cards because a wild
Hmm.
card is the most valuable resource in Arena. Even if another card is better for your deck, the likelihood that that actually gets you more product, like wins you more packs, is actually very small. It has to show up at the right time and the right game and change it from a loss to a win. All of that is very actually unlikely. So you might as well just take the card that you know you're going to use. Take the wild card if you want
Hmm.
to think about it that way, like which cards are essentially wild cards,
Hmm.
and just take the wild card out of the pack. And so that's what we like to do. We like to
Hmm.
make a little list. We're keeping them pretty tight these days. They used to be
Yeah.
quite long, but we've decided to sort of ratchet up the tension on that. But that way, when I'm drafting and I'm trying to read all the cards because I don't have them all memorized, it's a brand new set. I could just click that and then start reading the cards, and I know that I'm going to auto draft the card that I'm going to use in standard,
Hmm.
and really does relieve the pressure in these drafts where I'm like, what do all these cards do?
Yeah, exactly. And we always like to start off with the rare dual lands that are in the set, um,
Yeah.
because your mana base is super important, especially now that we're in rotation. You're going to lose a bunch of your mana base for standard. You will need to be able to play your spells. And even when we're talking about budget decks, we don't want your mana base to be restricted by that budget because
Yeah.
that playing your spells on time is super important, and a budget deck that is playing cards that are underpowered off curve is just death,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not going to put a bunch of resources into the cards that you're playing, you might as well put it in your mana base so that you do get to have some of those niche strategies will be actually effective. And this time
Plus,
around.
once you build up your mana base, then
Mhm,
you can actually start to build non-budget decks because you just
mhm,
have the lands already. Generally,
exactly.
the big commitment is the lands. So start to build that now. You can play some budget decks. Uh, in the meanwhile, that like Zach's explained, actually operate efficiently and properly. And then down the line, maybe you're playing tiered decks because you
Yeah.
just have the lands already.
Yeah.
Um, the place to cheap out on a deck to make it budget is not the mana base
No. It's
because your
usually.
deck just won't function. It'll be a turn slower. Even
Mhm,
you won't get to do all the cool things you do. Like, I definitely understand. Oh, I want to play this cool rare. I'll craft those. Now I don't have any wild cards for the lands. I'll play these budget lands instead. But the cool rare you crafted, you will not get to cast it. You will not get
mhm,
to use it because you're
mhm.
too slow and you'll
Yeah.
just get beaten down. So
Mhm.
it's, I understand that it can be like
It's not
tempting.
the it's not the fun choice. I understand it's not the
Yeah,
fun thing to do,
right. It's
but
like
we
eating your vegetables, you know? It's
it
like,
is.
yeah,
But the best thing, like you just said, is that like think of one wild card is obviously what we want to be having. One wild card or four wild cards that you're using for a playset in any deck, obviously strictly super important. But if you use all of those four wild cards on a land that you can use in a bunch of decks, that's like you just gained a bunch of wild cards because now you get to put them in a bunch of different decks. You get to use that card over and over and over again. And the lands that we're talking about today for this set are top of the list, tippity
the
top.
as good as it comes. Yeah,
Yes,
as
these
good
are
as it gets.
basically the best ones you can have. These are five of the shock lands in uh, in this draft format. They're kind of funky though, so you do need to figure out which ones you want specifically. They're not the allied shock lands or the enemy shock lands. We have a mix of both. So there are three enemy shocklands. So Breeding Pool, which is green blue, Godless Shrine, which is white black, and Sacred Foundry, which is red white. We have those three, as well as two allied shocklands, which is Stomping Grounds, which is red green, and then Watery Grave, which is blue black. We recommend you taking or putting all these on your list if you don't have them already.
Yeah. Yeah, so I am going to try to collect one of each of these just so I can play this artwork if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a play set of each of these things, and
Same. Yeah.
so I won't really be targeting them. But I'll probably try to pick up one of each. At
Yeah.
first glance, I don't know, the old school in me wants like the older
Always.
art for these things.
Always. Yeah.
But nice to have options. Maybe they'll grow on me. And
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Every once in a while, sometimes there's one art that fits a little bit better. You're like, you got the shrine. You're like, well, there's a lot of purple in this art. Maybe there's a couple more purple cards in my deck. Maybe it looks a little bit better if it's like this.
the Godless Shrine was the one I was eyeing as like I could
Cool.
see myself considering that one.
Well, of course, because that's the most beautiful one.
Yeah.
The other thing I
And
want to say
Breeding
is,
Pool's nice too, but like I'm not playing Breeding Pool. Come on.
yeah, I'm playing Breeding Pool more these days. Actually, it sucks.
Toxic rotated out. So.
Yeah. But no, the other thing about these shocklands is that obviously this is information that all of you who've been playing for a long time really know, but these are huge for every other format that's on Arena. You're going to need shocklands to play
Yes.
Pioneer.
Great
You need
point.
them for Historic. You need them for Timeless. So these skyrocket above everything else. If you don't have your playsets, you have to get them. It's not really, you cannot afford to not have these lands. You are going to be using wildcards on them at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
Pick
with
them
that,
up now.
yeah, with that being said, at the beginning of this draft format, they might get taken pretty quickly. Some people will obviously be using them in draft because there isn't good fixing in this format, so they will need them for their decks. But it also means like because there's no great fixing, people aren't really splashing that much because they can't. The way that
Yeah.
they're splashing is through like lander tokens and stuff. So these might come around a lot in like maybe not the first week, but weeks after that. A lot of people already have their playsets of this card, so
That's what I was gonna say. I think these will come around
you could probably
pretty early
you might be able
because
to
people have them.
yeah you might be able to wheel a couple of these or find a lot of them at random chunks. So pick your points. So I'm saying that like go into your draft maybe picking specific ones that you like. Jeff had mentioned Godless Shrine, right? So if you're like, okay, I want to play Godless Shrine for sure, I need to get all of them at some point, but I don't want you to go into a draft being like every fetch land or shock land I'm going to take it, and then your deck is like 5 or 6 of different colored shock lands because nobody else is picking them because they have all of them already. I don't want you to start the draft off with 5 of them. You know what I mean? Because that will be upsetting, and you'll be like, "This no pass list thing is bullshit." So, be the point of it is that you should be picky about certain ones. So maybe have a hierarchy or whatever. But I do
I don't
think
know.
you
If I
should
didn't
pick.
have these and I started a draft with 5 of them, I'd be like, this draft is already worth it.
All right. Well, I guess I've been in the draft enough where I've had way too many cards on my no pass list, and I start the draft being
Yeah.
like, amazing. I'm not going to use any of these, and then my draft was a just terrible mess, and then I just felt like, oh man. But
That is
yes,
why we tightened them up.
we did tighten them up specifically for that. So that's my little cautious tale. But shocklands are amazing, and you need them like for
Yeah.
every format on Arena.
Yeah, they're pretty much the best lands in the game. Like technically fetch
They
lands are
are.
better, but you can only play those in timeless. So
Yeah. And the fetch lands are also so good because of shocklands, right?
yeah.
So anyway, well, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons fetch lands are really good, but
Without
having the
shocklands, they would be a lot worse.
significantly worse. Anyway, so I just wanted to quickly do that you know whole thing. We do it every set, but I wanted
I'm
to make
excited
sure
for these to be in standard, to be
these are gonna be
honest.
great in standard. It's so exciting.
Standard formats with shocklands are always a great time
Mm-hmm.
because it's just fun when people get to play their cards.
Yeah. Also, it makes like splashing really interesting and a bunch of different stuff. And
And
I
the
like
two
that
life is just it's the
it is.
perfect penalty
It really
for
is.
for this. So
Yeah. And I like that we don't have all the same normal ones. I like that they've switched it up. I know it feels weird with 3 enemy and 2 ally, but I like that they did that
Yeah.
because I know it makes a couple things a little bit, just makes things interesting. I don't know. So maybe
Yeah,
there's
I'm
Mardu
interested that they
stuff to
gave
do,
Watery
or
Grave because Blue Black is one of the contenders for one of the better decks, and it's losing some stuff, but I feel like gaining Watery Grave is a big deal for them. So
it's a pretty big deal. But also, Blue Black was not a deck before the ban. I mean, it was a deck, but it wasn't a great deck before the bans.
it was a tier 2 or 3 deck
Yeah,
before the
and
bans. Yeah,
obviously they had decided Watergrave was going to be in the
true.
set like 2 years ago. So,
That's a good point.
but anyway, yeah, Jeff. This is also the time where we talk about other cards. We are interested in
Yes.
taking over everything else / cards that we think are really exciting, or things we want to play in standard.
Yeah. So I got a funky one for you.
Ooh, okay.
I think I want a playset of Cosmogoyf,
Oh,
which
okay.
is so Cosmogoyf is black green, star, 1+star. And this creature's power is equal to the number of cards you own in exile, and its toughness is equal to that number +1.
Hmm.
So I have been tinkering on and off with various oh geez, what's the now the name of the god is escaping me, but it's the exile god from Emocat.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why can I not remember it either?
um, but
Yes.
I had an Abzan build of that,
Hmm.
and then I was playing Esper for a little bit, but some of the cards that I need in my Esper build are rotating out, such as Temporary Lockdown.
Hmm.
Um, and I kind of want to go back to the Abzan build and see if this 2-drop really accelerates things. Because Ketramos,
Yeah.
God, Ketramos. Um, because part of the issue I had with my previous Abzan build was that it's kind of like a self-mill thing, and then it also doesn't really mind if you exile their graveyard
Hmm.
because it has Ketramos and stuff. But
Right.
I want to make it more like I
Exile.
don't care about my graveyard other
Hmm.
than to exile it, and
Hmm.
and I think this card is a little more all in on the exile plan, which is way more difficult to interact with. Like
Hmm.
graveyards are easy to interact with, but the way you interact with them is usually to exile. The exile game plan is quite difficult to interact with, actually. Um, and so, and I always, people like exile your Ketramos on my turn, and
Hmm.
I'm always like, whew, mistake, draw a card, ha ha
Hmm.
ha. But it's like, um, yeah, it's a super fun archetype. I haven't The Esper one was pretty promising, but I haven't really gotten one that felt like, yeah, this
Hmm.
this is really kicking ass. It always felt like what I'm doing is weird and it's a bit of an uphill battle against like,
Everything.
the is it deck.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is quite powerful in a deck where you're all in on exile. And I think that's what I've decided the deck needs to be is like we're just
Hmm.
all in on this. It's not like a self-mill that is okay if you exile stuff and like can exile its own like scavenging ooze its own stuff. Like that kind of
Hmm.
mid-rangey game plan wasn't really working for me. So I think I just want to build Abzan. Like we're just all in on exiling everything all the time. And I wish this card didn't say cards you own in
It's
exile,
such a bummer.
but
It really
it
like the thing that I just hate about the you own in exile is that like I think we talked about this when a couple weeks ago when we were talking about cards from the set. Um,
yeah.
I know why they decided it was you
It was a
own.
very early spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it obviously is a commander thing, so you don't have to check with everybody all the time,
Right.
as opposed to Tarmogoyf, which cared about everything in the graveyard, so that was everybody's stuff, which is a pain in the ass in multiplayer.
Hmm.
And so I think I get that, but it just seems also fun if you could exile your opponent's stuff and it would build like grow your dude.
But I'm thinking like main deck rest in peace is here. Like this is what we're doing. Everything's exiled all the time, and that's good for me.
That does sound awesome. All right, I'm ready to see it. I want to see how this goes. Will be interesting. If only you had Temple Garden or Overgrown Tomb. It's so
Oh,
unfortunate you didn't have a second one.
ridiculous.
You just have the Godless Shrine for that deck. So, which could be one of the things that I look in.
Cast Ketchermos. Well, that's the
It
nice part
it,
about
it
it.
does cast Ketchermos. So cast your 3 drop, not your 2 drop, but that's okay. Um, there are
Is
other.
this a 2 drop?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, you're right. It's probably closer to like a 6 drop or a 5 drop. But I love the idea of this for sure. And I love that you're going in on it and deciding, you know what, let's just go for it. Because I want to see that deck and I want to play that deck. And like I say, every time you talk about a cool deck, send me that list, buddy. I want to play it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing why I think this is perfect for this is because I don't really want to craft this card. I don't
Right.
want to spend my wild cards on this. But if I see
hmm
it in the draft, I'm gonna pick it up.
Well, the best thing about this card is that no one's picking this in the draft. You
Right?
will
It's
wield this
awful in
card.
draft, so I will
Yeah.
see it.
Because yeah, nobody wants this card. It is horrible. It's like stone unplayable in draft. Like blah blah blah. Yes, there's ways that you could make a
No,
case for it, but no,
don't. No, it's
you
awful.
shouldn't play it. It's really
Don't
bad.
pick this card in draft if you're don't put this card in your draft deck ever.
Just don't. Yeah, and I think that's another good thing to think about, like realizing that if you see this card, like these go super late. So that's a huge boon to any of these like standard cards that you're interested in taking. You're like, all right, the ones that it's funny because you obviously want cards that are good for your draft deck and good for everything else. But this other card I'm going to talk about has the same problem, where it's like this is garbage, like just absolute draft chaff. Like you shouldn't put this card in your deck, but it's going to be great in standard because it is replacing temporary lockdown. Pinnacle Star Cage is a card you should definitely be looking at. 1 white for an artifact. It's at rare. It says when this artifact enters, exile all artifacts and creatures with mana value 2 or less until this artifact leaves the battlefield. So very close to the same thing as the temporary lockdown. The biggest issue is that it is an artifact itself, which is much easier to destroy than enchantments. That's huge.
Yeah.
It also doesn't hit everything. It just hits creatures and artifacts, which keeps your rest in peace around, which is interesting. But
And your beans, right?
it keeps your beans around too. That is. Oh wait, beans is gone though.
Oh, damn
Beans is gone. I was like, wait a second, that's not right. It doesn't get rid of your opponent's Storm Chaser's talent though, so that is something.
it. Mm.
So it does get rid of the tokens, but not the actual enchantment, which depending, sometimes they just bounce it anyway,
They
so they get the
usually
token
pick it
back.
up,
So,
yeah. So
but
getting rid of
anyway,
the enchantment is nice.
yeah. Pinnacle Star Cage also has an activated ability. So for 6 white, a total of 8 mana, if you decide to at the end of the game. Put each card exiled with this artifact into its owner's graveyard, then create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each card put into a graveyard this way, and then sacrifice this artifact. There's one thing I just wanted to mention about this is that I like how they did the templating on this, where sacrifice this artifact is the last thing that happens.
Mm.
Sorry, excuse me. Because a lot of the times it'll be like you pay the mana cost and then sacrificing the artifact is part of the cost.
Right.
But you could counter the activated ability with your Tishana's Tide. Wait, what? Tishana's. Wait, what is that card called? The Tidebinder?
Tidebinder.
Yeah. You could flash that in, counter it, and then you just sacrificed your thing and you don't get any of the stuff, right? Like the
But
ability.
also like if sacking was part of the cost, then wouldn't returning all of the exiled stuff like go on the stack? Uh like once you sack this, you have to return everything that was under it. And
Yes.
so this would go on the stack, but then there would be nothing exiled with it because it all returned. So I don't think it can be part of the cost.
Oh,
right? Because it says exile this until it leaves the battlefield. And then if you sack it as part of the cost, immediately
it'll.
everything returns.
Oh, you're right. That's
And
why
this
they did
ability
that.
goes on the stack, and then
Oh,
there's nothing exiled with it.
I didn't really think that far into the. It's just buried in the rules of the card. Yeah, you're right. That's why
I
they
don't think
did
it
that.
works if you have
Yeah.
to sack as a.
Yeah, it has to be at the end. All right. I was thinking it was a sneaky way. It to me when I was reading that, it looked like the throwaway text on the
Ultima.
Ultima where it says end
Yeah.
the turn. So it kind of felt like, huh, this is kind of weird to have at the end of the thing.
It is very unusual, right? It's like, why would you
Yes.
put sack it at the end?
Yeah, but that makes sense. Okay. Sorry. So disregard everything I said about countering the
I
trigger
mean,
and
it
all that
still
stuff.
applies, right? Like,
It does.
it's
Because you
hard to
could just
get this thing with the Tidebinder.
yes. Um but anyway, you will be seeing this card around. It will be a card that is played. I don't know if it's going to have the same chokehold that Temporary Lockdown had on everything, just because red decks
This
can
is my
interact with this.
this is much worse than temporary lockdown, I think,
Hmm.
because, like, for example, I play a lot of red black, which was
Hmm.
just like, I guess I'm
Fuck.
fucked if they
Yeah.
play temporary. Like, my whole game plan against temporary lockdown is don't let it be too bad.
Hmm.
And generally it was like two lockdowns is we're pushing my ability to win, and three is like
It's like
impossible.
it's oh yeah.
Um, but with the braids now,
Hmm.
if this is the like I play main deck a braid already. So if
Hmm.
this is the solution that replaces it, for those kinds of decks, it's much easier. There's a bit of like there is upside here over temporary lockdown, but I think the fact that artifacts are so much easier to interact with, and every deck can interact with them
Hmm.
in a way that's not like, yeah, I could kill enchantments in my red black deck, but I would have to bring in bad cards
To do
that,
that.
like, like there's one or two that can
Hmm.
do it and they suck, you know? But I can play main deck artifact hate. That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
because it's
So,
stapled onto a bunch of other cards too.
yeah.
So I still think this card is going to be played,
Oh, it's still good. Yeah. But
but
it's much weaker. It's weaker than temporary lockdown, and I think they realized that like maybe temporary lockdown and Sunfall were a little
a
too
little too
much,
much. Yeah.
and they toned them both back a
Yeah,
little bit
so
on this.
changing them a little bit. Anyway, but the other thing I was saying is that Pinnacle Star Cage is just useless in draft. You're not going to play this card. It's so bad
It's
that
awful.
it will go around as well. So you can pick these up in the draft very easily,
Yeah.
and you won't have to waste premium picks on them. I would say you can find these later in the draft, and they will be useful, which is great. I really
Yeah.
like that. I like scooping up those cards late. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we snake in this, or
We
can
could.
am I going?
I mean, like the other card I was gonna say that. I mean, we can snake it. We can, but of course, I'm gonna pick another white card that I want to talk about.
What?
That you should just take if you ever see it because it's amazing in draft and everything. So
Right.
this is an easy
But
like.
still, like sometimes you won't be in white, and
Of
you'll see
course,
this in pack two or whatever. It's like, should I
yeah,
take this or a good card for my deck, kind of thing.
yeah. You just take this
Maybe
card.
pack three. Okay, pack three.
Okay, pack three. You should still take this
Yeah.
card. This is mythic in white. It's called Cosmogrand Zenith. So this is 2 and a white for a 2/4 creature human soldier. It says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, choose one. You get to create 2/1/1 white human creature tokens, or you put 2+1+1 counters on each creature you control. All
Yeah,
right.
this card's insane.
Imagine this card with Corey Steelcutter in standard. Doesn't this seem like a crazy fun Boros deck?
That's what they thought
It
was going to happen.
it was definitely supposed to go that way. It's
Yeah.
not going that way. Obviously, Corey Steelcutter got banned. But this card being 3 mana is the worst part about it. Is that, man, 3 mana? Woof. I guess it doesn't get hit by the Pinnacle Star Cage, so maybe there's that. You can still pump out more stuff. So maybe that is an upside. but it does so much shit. I love that they brought Flurry back for the set, even though they don't call it Flurry. The that
Yeah.
cast two spells. It's just such a
It's just a
great
good
mechanic.
mechanic. Yeah.
It just inherently says, hey, this is a good thing to do in Magic in every format, is playing more than one spell a turn. And this card rewards you for doing that by either making a board or making it huge. And it's awesome. I like it a lot. Yeah. I think you can probably slot this into like the Boros Convoke decks if they're doing this kind of stuff. Or, I mean, I don't know. This card
Well,
just
for
seems
sure this goes in that,
super
right?
easy to put in a bunch of places. It's great if you're trying to recover after a board wipe or anything. I don't know. Card seems sick. Sick as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm so
Card is
upset I don't
nuts.
get to play it with Corey Steelcutter.
Yeah, but it's probably for the best.
No, it was going to be so much
Uh,
fun. It was going to be so much fun for me, and I don't get to do it now. And it's all your fault. Everyone else out there
yeah.
screwing it up for
All of
me.
you people
All of
losing to Corey
you.
Steelcutter. It's
Yeah.
on you.
God.
You could have just won instead of not winning. It wouldn't be banned.
Yeah.
Um, so the card that I have, I'm gonna pick this card because I think it's insane, but I hate it. This is the type of
Okay.
card that I don't like, and it just has me going like, WTF? Like, what the hell is this? Um, so that
W-
card,
Classic WTF. What the hell?
yeah, well, I had to censor it.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the card is Consult the Star Charts, and
Oh,
this
sure.
is one in a blue for an instant. With kicker, one in a blue. You look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put one of those into your hand. If it was kicked, put two into your hand instead, and the rest on the bottom. Why? Why is this so good?
It's so good, dude. It's
This
so
is
good.
unreasonably good for this type of effect. This is like these types control decks already love anticipate. They'll play that. That's good enough. And this is like just kicks that in the crotch and throws it in the fire and is like, what the hell is this? Why is this card so good? Like this is everything a control deck want is maybe because control hasn't been particularly strong. They're trying to beef it
That
up.
could have been.
But like,
Like,
I just hate when the power is concentrated in cards that don't do anything. It's like, and this is the prime example of the type of card where I begrudgingly will pick it up, and because I'm probably going to play it at some point. But it's like, I don't understand why we're concentrating power here. This
uh,
is just so pushed. This is
it's
so
so
pushed for
pushed.
this
It's
effect.
it's so good, dude. I love this card so much. The instant
I
speed
hate
on
it.
this is
I hate it, but
crazy.
it's
It's
like
yeah.
this is just so far beyond what they've printed in this slot before.
Yeah,
It's like
it is
I feel
very
like you're gonna play against control. You're gonna be like, well, I could run this into their obvious no more lies, but if I don't do that, they're gonna consult the star chart. So I guess I'm just fucked.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like,
At least those are two different cards instead of the same, right?
true, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you get to look at so many cards and pick
This
it's just
is
y-
unreasonably good. This is like anticipate mixed with memory deluge.
yeah. Are we just playing four Consult the Stars over stock up now? And then maybe you
Ah,
play
man, I forgot they have stock up too. Like they just
it's just stock up's a sorcery, so it's like
I
do
think
you
this is
I guess
better. I think this is
I
better
think
than
that this
stock
is
up.
way better than
This
stock up.
card is nuts. This might be the best card in the set. And it's like
Like,
this is all it does. It just like looks at stuff and you pick it. Come
yeah.
on. Why is
Late
that the best
game,
card?
like imagine late game you draw this, you're like, okay, I'm gonna look at fucking everything. Like
Yeah.
I'm
And pick
going to get
two.
something. I get two cards out of all the stuff.
I
And
get to look at
then
my library and choose any two cards,
yeah. And
basically.
the worst possible thing is probably just like, I don't know, a land and another Consult the Stars to do it again and
Yeah.
get what you want. Like you can look at one more card now. I don't know. I
This card is fucking nuts. And
yeah.
I'm gonna pick these up because I know at some point I'll probably play them. But
Oh yeah. You yes.
in a world where the blue decks were already the best decks, I don't understand why this is where we're putting our PowerPoints for the set.
Oh, oh, that's great,
The
buddy.
stupid blue instant that just Yeah, anyways, yeah, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but this card is nuts. You should take this card. It's I think the best card in the set.
It's also just super fun to play. It's great. It's really strong.
Yeah.
Um, so nice. Um, one card that I don't think this is actually going to come up a lot in standard necessarily because it's too bound by. I don't know if this is leaving like away from like I'm moving away from our no pass list now as I'm trying to keep it super tight. But I just wanted to talk about this card and how impressive it was and how much I like it. It
Yeah.
has a similar quality to the card you just talked about, except for the fact that its reach is significantly smaller. But I was very impressed with Possibility Technician. This is a red card. It's 2 and a red for a 3/3 creature Kavu Artificer at rare. It says when this creature or another Kavu you control enters, exile the top card of your library. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may play it if you control a Kavu. And then it warps for 1 and a red. So you get to play it, and then you have to put it into exile at the end of turn. So basically, this is a card that on turn 2, you get to draw a card, and then on turn 3, you get to draw a card. And then as long as you have a Kavu, you can play them. So it's like an impulsive draw, but you can play them
Mhm.
just as long as you have a Kavu, you get to play those cards. If this card goes away and you play a Kavu, you get to play those cards. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
is
that's neat.
really cool. And obviously, like, there's not a ton of Kavu that you're excited about
You
playing,
probably only need these though. If you have four of
but
these,
yeah,
that might be good enough.
you can also
Because you
just
play this later, right? Like,
yeah, you play 4 of these. You play it early, get a bank up a couple cards. Even if they're able to kill this before you can cast any of those cards, the next time you get one of these, every card that you exiled with the first one just costs 2 mana more to cast because all you do is
right,
warp
because you
this
warp
in,
it. Yeah.
play the other cards. It is a really, it just feels like a real good way to get cards in red that is a different impulsive draw that is wrapped around Kavu stuff, which I don't think we're going to get any more. Obviously, it's just this set, unfortunately. Unless Spider-Man has something I'm surprised by, but
That would
hey,
be interesting.
there's a Kavu in Spider-Man. Maybe one of
Yeah.
the Rhino turns out to be Kavu in actuality.
Yeah.
But this card is just really awesome, and I could see this being an interesting little quirky point for a red something deck. It is hard when it's one of the best decks to find different slots, and really they're just pairing red with blue, and blue does the drawing. So the red's like, why would you even do that? But I just think this card's really cool. So I don't know whether you should just take this for your no pass list, but I just wanted to point a big marker to, hey, I think Possibility Technician is pretty strong and pretty cool, and the play pattern is a lot of fun. So definitely keep an eye out for this card because it's
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even read this card. I just like scanned it. I was like, okay, random red 3/3 rare, whatever. But yeah, this is a cool design. I like it.
it's super sweet. I like it a lot. But yeah, Jeff, I think I that might be the end of my list of cards that I really wanted to talk about for this section. Do you have anything else before we move on?
Yeah, similar thing. It's not on my no pass list, but it's kind of caught my eye,
Hmm.
and mostly because it's not for the type of deck that I like to play. But there's a history, a little bit, of mono green stompies showing up every once in a while in standard,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah,
think they might be pushing a little bit towards that again. They kind of,
let's go.
it's a good deck to have in standard, honestly.
I
I like
agree.
formats where it's relatively strong. But they put Frenzied Baloth in this set,
Hmm.
which is green green for a 3/2, can't be countered, trample haste, creature spells you control can't be countered, and combat damage can't be prevented. So that's a lot for a two
Hmm.
drop.
It's a lot.
Obviously, the problem is this dies to everything.
Hmm.
Like cut down the shock or whatever, any shock type effects, but burst lightning, whatever. Like anything that
Hmm.
people play kills this. But if it goes undisputed, like this is a house for that
Hmm.
deck, and against control, it's
Amazing.
like just
This is
imagine when they hold up No More Lies, and then you just jam this. It's like in for
mhm.
three. your No More Lies is now useless.
Yeah. Ugh, too
Like,
bad they're gonna play Consult the Stars charts
I know.
instead.
If
But
it wasn't for fucking consult the star charts, this card might see play.
it's true.
Uh,
But I love exactly what you're saying. Where it's like, if we ever see like what's so funny about mono green is that this card makes it seem like mono green will be better if control is really good. So
right.
if control isn't really good and dominating, then mono green isn't going to have a place to be. So you kind of, I don't want to say this, but hope control is one of the best decks so that mono green Stompy might have a little edge.
Mhm.
That's a weird
But I like
thing
when
to
you
think
have that
about.
kind of rock, paper, scissors thing going on. It's like there's not just this is the best aggro deck. It's like in different metagames, this aggro deck will shine versus this one.
Exactly.
Um, and that makes control weaker, which then makes mono green weaker, which then makes
Hmm.
mono red better, or whatever. Like that kind of stuff is what
Yeah.
makes standard really cool.
Yeah. And is the
And we've
any
kind of
given
gotten away
tournament kind of
f
thing.
and we've gotten away from it a little bit recently, where it's just like, well, this is just the best deck, and
Yeah.
yeah, doesn't
Once
matter
again,
what the field is.
we are going to say this again. I know Jeff's going to back me up on this, but Zendikar Rising Standard was
Oh,
underrated,
yeah,
and the rock paper scissors of that format was so interesting. There were only 3 decks, but boy, were those really interesting games.
yeah. Any given weekend,
Yeah, the
which one
tournament
was
was
the
like,
best was
yeah.
different. Yeah,
And like I know it was all about like, oh, the different sideboard slots or new little tech, or oh, we're gonna
yeah.
try this like big rogues versus small rogues and all that kind of stuff. But those were really exciting and interesting games.
And all three decks were all about interacting with the opponent. They were all
Exactly.
interactive decks.
Yeah. So
That was a great format, but
it
people
was.
hated it for some
People
reason.
really hated it. And I'm not saying this because it was the start of the podcast. I'm not saying it because it was my real first foray into a lot of competitive,
Yeah.
games or tournaments or whatever.
It really was awesome. It was a great format. And then Omnath, people were like, ah, yeah, I want something different. And then Omnath came around. They were like, no,
Hmm.
please, let's go back. Let's go
Exactly. They're
back to the
like, this
previous
is,
format,
yeah,
please.
God, freaking all math. But anyway, Jeff, are you ready? I'm cracking my backup beer right now. Sorry,
Let's
that's
do
what
it.
that sound was.
Yeah.
Are you ready for our Pack Zero Pick One challenge? And
I am so ready.
when I say our Pack Zero Pick One challenge, I do want to reiterate and
Oh,
remind
yeah,
everyone
we didn't invent it.
we didn't invent this game. Credit is
You
completely
mean Magic
due.
the Gathering? No.
Yeah, we didn't
Uh,
invent Magic the Gathering.
yeah, yeah, we did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I am Richard and he's Garfield.
Yeah.
No, Magic Data Science on Twitter and Blue
I
Sky.
did have lasagna for dinner.
Oh, so dumb. Um, anyway, Magic Data Science, you can find them on Blue Sky, has put this together over the last couple years. Really, it's just a Google Doc, but Jeff can explain everything to us about how this all breaks down. But it's a lot of fun, and you have to play before you've actually played the set.
Yeah, Zach doesn't follow that rule, but
Shut the
most of
hell
us
up. I
do.
had all my picks. Okay, let the record show. I picked every single one of my cards before I played in the streamer event, okay? So I did not touch any of the cards before picking them. And
That's what
then
he
I
claims.
well
But
then I played the streamer event and was like, "Wow, well, all right. Maybe I'm
I
wrong."
want to change all my picks. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I didn't. Okay? And then I didn't.
Fair enough. We'll see. I mean, if you win, I guess the only way it
Jeff,
could
we
have
know
been.
I'm not going to win. We know I'm not going to win.
But so how does this work?
Hmm.
We look at the set of brand new cards and we choose the best common from each color. White, blue,
Hmm.
black, red, green. What's going to be the top performing common? Then they give you two flex slots if you play a lot of like fantasy, sometimes you
Hmm.
have a flex slot. Sometimes you have an extra wide receiver, sometimes you have an extra running back. You want to play them in that flex slot. So
Hmm.
there's two slots for just other commons that you were considering. Um, and they would go here if you can't make the tough call. You just pick both. Then there's the gold signpost. So every set, there's 10 cards, one for each color pair, and it tells you what you're supposed to do in that color pair. You pick which one's going to be the best of those. And then there's a tiebreaker rare. Doesn't really come up, but in case you have the same points, this is the tiebreaker. But what you do is you take all the cards you picked. At the end of the format, you look at the game in hand win rate on 17lands.com, which is kind of the de facto stat for like card quality that the
Hmm.
limited community has landed on. And you add up all those numbers. If you have like a 54.1 plus a 32, you add them all up and you see who got more points.
Hmm.
Um, it is very challenging
It
because
is. Yeah.
context is a thing that's hard to take into account when you're looking at hundreds of new cards.
Mhm.
But
It turns out that evaluating cards before you've played them is extremely difficult,
very
and
tough.
not everybody can get it right, but we do our best
I would go so far as to say nobody can consistently get it right. Like nobody
consistently. Yeah,
can
definitely.
predict the correct best commons in each color every time.
Hmm. Absolutely. Even though it seems like, oh, it's the easiest thing, play this game with us. Even if you
Yeah,
did your pre-release, play this game with us, and see what you can do. We will like listen to our last episode about Final Fantasy. You can see how difficult this game is, and it makes it so much more fun because of all this, and
yeah.
that's why we keep playing it.
If it was easy,
Because
it wouldn't be fun, right?
exactly, you do get to the nitty gritty of the commons, which is obviously what a lot of limited is about. Even with play boosters, don't let anyone tell you commons aren't important anymore. With play boosters, they are. They're super important, and yeah, Jeff, do we want to just rock this out? Who needs to go first? We usually snake this guy.
Uh, I could go first if you want. But I did want to say one thing
Oh, sure,
quickly,
go
which
ahead.
was just that I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but one thing I really like about this game is it has me looking at all the commons in the set before I draft the format and
Hmm.
like engaging with it and thinking about, hey, what might this format look like? And it gives me like when I start the drafts, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I've looked at a lot of these cards, I've thought about this. It gives me some guidance in my first couple drafts. Now, you have to be really quick to change your
Hmm.
mind because obviously you didn't know what the hell you were looking at or talking about.
It's so
But
true.
I've found it helpful in those like, it's draft one. What do I do? It's like, oh, I've looked at most of these comments. Like I kind of know and I've looked at the signpost on comments. Like I kind of know what the color pairs are supposed to do. I kind of
Hmm.
know what the good in my what I'm guessing the good commons are and stuff like that. Whereas I just like without the mechanism to force me to do that,
Hmm.
I would probably just be going in with absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
So
totally. That's what I've been kind of enjoying. I've been, if you out there didn't know, I've been doing limited set reviews for all the last sets of this year, and I do exactly the same thing. Just having to sit down and look at every single card and be like, what grade would I give this if I grade this a grade? Similar to how we work with beer, where it's like normally I'm not rating beer, but like because I have to
right.
sit down and actually make a decision, I do have to start thinking about what I actually like and don't like and what I think is good, whatever. So I think it's a good practice, even if you're not right. Almost especially if you're not right, you should just. It's a good practice
Oh
to
yeah.
just like
And you
put
won't be, by the way.
put your money where your mouth is. Um, yeah, Jeff, sure, go ahead, give it to us.
Cool.
What's your white common?
All right. So for me, I looked at the white commons and there was one in particular where I'm like, it feels crazy not to choose this card
Hmm.
because this card is so strong in
Yeah.
limited. And they reprinted it here.
Hmm.
So I chose Banishing Light.
Yes.
Um, Banishing Light is just an unbelievable limited card. It three
Hmm.
mana, get rid of anything, and enchantments are generally not the easiest to interact with. And this
Yes.
set is not does not provide like copious amounts of enchantment removal or something like
Hmm.
that. So um, it's hard for me to imagine that this won't at least be in the top three,
Hmm.
and it's probably
The
realistically, it's probably just
the
the
tippy
best way to
top.
become
Yeah. Um, no surprise. Mine is also banishing light. Um, it's just one of those cards, and also this is a format where artifacts have a lot more removal spells because of all the actual spacecrafts and stuff. And
Right. If this
so
was like one of the artifact versions of this card, then that might give me something to think about. But
yeah,
this is just so clean. It's like
it's super
three
clean.
mana, exile target online permanent.
Yeah,
It's
boom.
crazy
Yeah,
for common.
uh, it's super good. I think the blue card I picked is also super clean.
Okay.
Um,
It's interesting because
because
I think I picked maybe a little spicy blue card.
ooh, interesting.
We'll see.
I don't
If you
know.
picked the same one, then I guess.
I was looking at a bunch of these cards now after playing a little bit. I don't know if I'm completely right, but I think this card seems crazy busted and really good, which is
Okay.
Cryo Shatter. I feel like
Okay.
Cryo Shatter is strong. Like, this is a single blue for an enchantment aura. It enchants a creature. Enchanted creature gets -5, -0. And then it says when enchanted creature becomes tapped or is dealt damage, you destroy it. So not only is it super flavorful because you freeze somebody, and if you poke them, they just shatter into a million pieces.
I do like that. Yeah.
But
When I was
it
reading these
costs
cards.
1 mana. It's
I
so
also like the
cheap.
art on this.
It's so good. Yeah, Jeremy Wilson makes a lot of pieces like this. There's a couple other ones that are in the set, but you can see when Jeremy Wilson is like
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
very obvious. His stuff is very eye catching. Lots of good use of like blank limited or blank negative space, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. I like how the pool around the creature is just like one shade of blue.
Just
That's it.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's what it is. It's super cool. But I was like, when I was looking at all the cards, I was like, did I read this right? I had to read this like 5 times to be like, no, I read this card right.
Right.
This
So
just,
so this takes out a creature. They can't attack with it, and they can block once with it,
yes.
basically.
And they can't crew with it either because it dies if it taps.
Right.
Or
They
station
or
or whatever.
station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Solid. For one
Solid.
mana, man, you can't ask for
In
much
blue?
more.
I don't know. It doesn't tap it and do all that kind of stuff, but we don't care. Sure, they can sacrifice it and stuff, but
Which could be relevant in this
could
format.
be could be a little relevant. Yes, I think there's less stuff. Like there are some things, but it is kind of dependent on a couple different factors. But I don't know. 1 mana is so hard to like. It's just so much for 1 mana, and the blue white strategy cares about playing multiple spells a turn. So
Right. Yeah.
that's totally like this is the best 1 mana spell you're gonna have in that deck, like bar none.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this card's got to be up there. But there
Yeah.
are some good blue
I was
contenders.
looking at
So
this one too. I did not choose this one. But you had me nervous because you said cryo. I actually
oh
picked Cryogen Relic
yes,
as my
okay,
blue card. So this is one in a blue for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. One in a blue to sack it. Put a stun counter on up to one target tapped creature. This seems like a very strong divination style thing. I think it's going to be pretty, like just scanning through the set, I'm like, it seems pretty easy to sack this for value. But even if you can't, it's not that, like, it buys you time to find the stuff you're trying to do. I don't know. I think this is, and it's a nice two drop. It just like fixes your draws and stuff like that, helps you kind of, you know, do what you're doing. I think this is low key, one of those like low key cards that just ends up being the best card in the format kind of thing.
yeah,
And it's a bit of a gamble because it's like this it the decks that want this have to be good decks because not it's not just generically powerful. Um, but I felt like blue was where I wanted to take my shot because this one looked spicy to me, and I was like, that seems like a good card.
that is definitely one of the ones I was looking at as well. The blue red deck, doing artifact shenanigans. Blue black, there's more sacrificey stuff. Blue white, you
Yeah.
want to be drawing, you want to be playing multiple spells, so being able to draw cards for 2 mana is a good idea. Blue green might be the spot where you don't care as much about it, just because you do care about drawing
You're
cards,
just
but
like
like
ramping, so maybe it buys you time. That's probably the weakest in
yeah,
that deck.
you
Yeah.
might want either mana acceleration early and have big draw spells late. So but four out of the or like three out of the four decks, that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah. I think I'm kind of
so
into this. I think I'll be taking this fairly highly. Um,
mhm.
and I'm not sure if other people will or not. So this what I was looking at is like maybe this is the competitive advantage here. It's like that this might fly around a little too much in
Yeah, I
early
think
drafts.
this is also a card that's like if you want to play an artifact deck, I think you have to start on the relic
Hmm.
and then get the other pieces
The
because it's
payoffs
so
exist, right?
important. Yeah,
It's
but like
the
you're gonna
fuel for the
you're gonna
fire.
look at your deck at the end and be like, man, I wish I had some more cryogen relics, and like
Right.
they're just
And
not gonna
I
come
don't know if there's
around.
a limit to how many of these you would want. Like if you're in that deck, you're like, I have five cryogen runnings.
Well, I
Can't
think the
lose.
limit is probably like 22. Like you
Yeah.
can't have.
It's like my deck doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one card that helps me win the game, but everything else just
Yeah.
draws me to it. Um,
Reminds me of those like 39 swamp one pack rat decks when your draft
mhm,
went wildly
mhm.
wrong. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
just mulligan to pack rat. You're actually gonna
Is
do
it?
pretty well.
Yeah. Oh God. Yikes.
Yeah, but blue was my spicy one because I feel like I didn't go super spicy this time. So
Mhm.
that's and I don't even know if it's that spicy to be honest. But
No, it's definitely not that spicy. There's definitely spicier blue picks for sure, but it's definitely a good one, and I like where your head's at.
it takes me to my black choice where I
Hmm.
felt like the responsible thing to do was to take Gravkill,
Hmm.
which is three and a black for an instant exile target creature, spacecraft, um, just catch all removal, spacecrafts tacked on there is nice. And exile matters for void. Just kind of
Hmm.
feels like this is going to be pretty solid. It depends on the speed of the format because there are cheaper removal spells in black.
Yes.
But this one just felt like there's a few go wide strategies too, which could
Hmm.
make this not the best black common. But again, I feel like it can't be bad.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's got to at least be kind of up there. Whereas the other options are a bit of a gamble on the outcome of the format.
Yeah. Did want to clarify Void just wants things to leave the battlefield, so it doesn't care about exile specifically. But exile is great because there are ways to get stuff back from your graveyard. I also picked Gravkill because I think it's just better than the other ones. Though I did want to talk about one of the other removal spells just because I think we should. Because obviously, if you are just listening and you haven't looked at a bunch of these cards, it's harder to know what the other competition was. And usually for black, the competition is between the big removal spell, Gravkill, and the little one, which is deep. Well, there's two little ones, but the
There's two
real
little
one
ones. Yeah.
is I don't think Embrace Oblivion. I don't think is ever going to be number one. Um,
I like it,
like
but I don't think it's number one.
Embrace Oblivion's like the bone splitters of the set. It's like you can sacrifice a creature
Yeah.
or artifact to destroy a creature with or spacecraft at sorcery speed for a single black. But the card I actually wanted to talk about was Depressurize because this is a really interesting design that we've never
It's
really
so
seen before.
interesting.
So
And
deep,
another one where I really like the art, but
that's super cool. Depressurize is one and a black for an instant at common. It says target creature gets -3, -0 until end of turn. Okay, this looks like a blue card. Sure. It also says then if that creature's power is 0 or less, destroy it. Okay, so this would normally be like -3, -3 until end of turn, and then it just probably kills the creature. But now you get in this weird space where it's like 4 mana 3/4s die to depressurize, which normally it would not kill it if it was the other version. Not that that
yeah.
card's like that stat line is fantastic, but it is an interesting idea of like if you have no more power in space, you die. I think that's just like a cool design.
Yeah. I think this card's super cool. I was trying to like look through the set to see if it mattered that much. And I was like, there's Star Breach Whale, you know? Like,
That's actually a huge one. That's a good call out because Starbreach Whale I think is pretty strong.
yeah,
Um,
I like Star Breach Whale as well. And it's a 3/5. And
yeah,
so
it
this
has
might make me like Starbreach Whale less, actually. than I
Hmm.
normally would. Um, but there are a few three, fours and stuff, but I don't
Hmm.
think any particularly good. And a lot of the cards that I think are good are just kind of like three threes or whatever. So
Yeah. So it would
I was
die under
like,
any circumstance,
Pressurize
basically.
is cool, but I don't know if it's offering that much additional value
More.
outside of.
Totally.
And then
Uh,
obviously there's weird stuff where like versus the -3, -3. Like for example, Dark Endurance can
mhm.
randomly save your creature from this or whatever, whereas
Right.
the old version -3, -3, Dark Endurance wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Dark
Hmm.
Endurance is one in a black, costs one less if it targets a blocking creature. Target creature is +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. So this it kind of gets hosed on both levels because it pumps the power and
Hmm.
gives it indestructible, but
Yeah.
uh, the classic -3/-3 effect wouldn't care about this
Hmm.
trick.
The indestructible part. Yeah. Or yeah,
Or the
the
pumping the power,
the
like
pumping the
it just
power. Yeah.
wouldn't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting card. Uh, I
I like
am.
it. I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure. I was like, I don't know. This
Exactly. I don't.
card, I could see a world where this is the best black common,
Mhm.
but I think that, you know, it's a little less likely than Kill being the
I
best
think
common.
for sure. I think for sure. So that's obviously why we took that. I'm keeping my picks pretty tight this time around because sometimes I take a
Yeah.
couple too many shots, and
Right.
things. I'm waiting. I'm waiting
Mine were
for.
pretty tight this time too. I didn't really take any wild shots.
Yeah. For red, I picked Bombard, which is two in a red for an instant destroy. Or sorry, Bombard deals 4 damage to target creature. 3 mana instant
Yeah.
speed, deal 4. That's a great rate.
I
Like
think it's crazy not to pick Bombard here.
it's
Like it
so
might not
crazy.
end up being the best red common, but it's crazy not to pick it without knowing more. You know,
Yeah.
like
It's also the only instant speed removal spell that red has at common.
yeah.
We also have Plasma Bolt, which is a single red for a sorcery that deals 2, or with Void it deals 3. And then Orbital Plunge, I actually think is pretty good as well. It's 4 mana for a sorcery, deals 6 damage to a creature. 4 mana for 6 damage. That's pretty great. A lot of times we get like
Usually it's 5 mana for
four,
this.
5, yeah, five
Yeah.
mana for this effect, or we're dealing significantly less damage. But 4 mana for 6 is crazy. And if you deal excess damage, which you probably are going to, you get a lander token, which I think is a big
Yeah.
game. So it's just
Which
a
landers
sorcery.
are, when you have the switch mana, how good are they? But because there's a lander
Hmm.
archetype, I think
Yes,
this ends up being a bit more slotted. Like that deck's probably more interested in it than
I think you'd probably
generic
be.
red decks.
Well, you'd also be interested in like the aggressive. I could see orbital plunge being good in like the Rakdos decks that
Right,
probably
to
care
take out
about
big blockers.
take. Well, you not only take out a big blocker, but you made a sacrifice fodder at the same time because the
Oh,
deck
sure.
cares about sacrificing artifacting
It's a void.
creatures.
The archetype is void, so it wants stuff to leave
Yeah,
the
not just
battlefield.
leave, but you have a lot of cards that say like when it attacks, it gets +2 power if you sacrifice a creature or an artifact, and so you're like,
Right.
sweet, this is just something to
Lander
sacrifice
tokens are
to
good there. Yeah.
exactly that kind of
But
thing.
orbital plunge gets you kind of two instances of void
Exactly, one on
for
this
that deck.
turn, one on the next turn. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Bombard just seems like it's just too hard not to pick, like you were saying.
It's
Which I
just
think we
it's too good. It's similar to Banishing Light, right? Like this is just
exactly.
an insane limited common. And the format could shake out in a specific way where some more niche card ends up actually being the best.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy ahead of time not to just take Bombard because it's at least going to be in the top two probably.
Yeah. And this is the time I want to remind you that obviously we're going to revisit all of these at the end of the set, right before Spider-Man actually comes out. And right around with the Pro Tour is happening, actually, because the Pro Tour will be for this set, not for the Spider-Man set, for,
Hmm,
I'm sure, legal reasons.
right.
It's got to be. So we'll see if we're right. We could look back and be like, well, all these cards ended up being too slow and we needed some cheaper removal. And, that's just, you just don't know. Or,
Yeah.
man, it was all about like single target removal was significantly worse. You needed things that made it a bunch of
Right.
tokens
Because
because
black white is go wide and
yeah, and
yeah.
grav kill was just too expensive to kill a 2/2, you know.
Yeah.
So that is easily something that could happen. So this is it may sound not super exciting, but it's actually very exciting to me and very hard.
Right. We're probably going to end up being wrong on a lot of these, but like the
Yeah,
card we picked is in the top two or three,
exactly.
which
And
is what I would.
I have to beat Jeff. I have to beat him. I can't let him keep winning this stupid game.
Well, my next pick's going to make that difficult because for me, this was a no-brainer. I actually like the look of green in this set, kind
Okay.
of my green, but I had to pick Galactic Wayfarer here. That's my card. That's my
I,
jam.
yeah.
And
I mean,
Galactic Wayfarer, I guess I should read it. Tuna green for a 3/3. Excuse me. When this creature enters, create a lander token. What's up with that? That's a nice common.
yeah, Jeff, I picked the same card.
How could you not?
I know it's
Like,
very
without knowing more about the format, how do you not pick this card?
it looks very good.
I almost picked. I was very interested in diplomatic relations until I read the errata that you posted in the Discord channel.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, that makes it way worse.
Yeah, so very important. This is actually great for all of those who don't know. There's an errata to a green common that diplomatic relations is 2 and a green for an instant, a common. Target creature gets +1/+0.
Any creature you want, right?
Just whatever. They get +1/+0 and vigilance until end turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. So this could make your opponent's creature target itself.
This kills almost anything, right? Like
Kills.
unless you're the whale, I guess the three.
Yeah. The
But
3/5 survives, but everything else just
yeah,
dies. 3 mana kill everything. Pretty crazy for green.
instant speed.
Instant speed.
And then it has additional value if you want to like target your own creature, fight something, and like
Give it vigilance or
that's the
whatever.
baseline is kill your opponent's creature.
Yeah. It's also just biting. It's yeah, right. So it's just anyway, this card was supposed to say target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance.
Yeah.
And then it fights it or bites a creature your opponent controls.
Still
They have
really good,
yes.
but not as absurdly good as I thought it was when I read it.
Obviously, this is actually errated. So when you play in paper anywhere, the actual printing on the card is incorrect. So if you go to your pre-release, you need to have that article ready to show your opponent. Say, hey, that's not how it works. A bummer. It's a blemish on the set for sure that we have to errata something.
There are
But
actually a few random kind of sprints or
little,
errors.
yeah.
Yeah. But on
Which
Arena, it will just have the correct text.
yeah, it's already fixed on Arena. That happened almost immediately. So
Right. 'Cause, yeah.
you will
It
if
was
you're
probably
playing
like
Arena,
coded correctly, just the card wasn't
written right. Yeah,
written
that's
right.
that's probably exactly what it was. Another card I just wanted to in green there's like two that I want to put a little light on that were like I was kind
Well,
of
it
interested
also
like
is your turn to pick your miscellaneous. So if you want to put light and it's not your miscellaneous, I get that. But if
yeah,
the one of
these
these
are
is your misc pick,
they
then
definitely aren't. But
okay.
I think that green could there's some interesting stuff with randomly Intrepid Tenderfoot is annoying as hell. Just a
Oh,
2 mana 2/2.
I dig Intrepid
Yeah.
Tenderfoot. That
So
like this is what I'm saying. There are a lot of green cards that I really like.
so Intrepid Tenderfoot is a 2 mana 2/2 Insect Citizen. You can pay 3 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Activate only as a sorcery. And so basically it's just like turn 2 you play it. If you're on the draw against Intrepid Tenderfoot and you're like, well, all my cards are like 2/2s or 2/3s. If I play one of those blockers, they just pump it, attack. You can't do anything. And then every turn, they're just on this roller coaster until you kill it. And then their hand is full of cards. And it's just
Yeah.
like, this is so stupid if you don't immediately have like a 3/1 or a 3 power 2 drop or a way to kill this card. Because you're just going to be behind if they keep
But
pumping it. They don't have
crazy thing
to.
about this card too is if your opponent stumbles, it just steamrolls them. Uh, that's what I was going to say though. Like it's a totally valid a totally reasonable curve to
Hmm.
play this on 2 and then
Hmm.
pump it on 3 and
Yeah,
attack.
and just
Like
go.
that, and I love stuff like that because you don't always have a 3 drop.
Hmm.
Like you don't always have the perfect curve out. You maybe have a 4 drop in
Hmm.
this and like a few lands, and it's like that's so nice that it gives you that 3 drop option, or it just becomes crazy in the late game because it doesn't say you only have to do it once a turn.
You can,
So in the
yeah,
late game, you're just like counter attack or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Um, I love
So,
2 drops that are fine early, like it's a grizzly bear early, but
mhm.
it doesn't take that long for this to turn on. And it's a great late game card. Like you're not that bummed when you're sitting there with 10 lands and you top deck this.
Yeah, you're like,
You're
okay,
like,
cool,
might take a couple of turns, but
but it's
it,
gonna be a
it will
real
break
threat.
with board stall. Yeah.
So this card was extremely surprising when I was playing it in the event, and keep your eye out for it. It could also be because I was just starved for 2 drops, but this ended up being like, ooh, green could be open if I saw this card, which is crazy to me. Also, I just wanted to shine a little light on Thawbringer as well. It's the 3 mana 4/2 Insect Scout. That when it
Sure.
enters or dies, you surveil one. The biggest thing about the reason I thought this card was interesting is because 4 power on a 3 drop is really nice for stationing spacecrafts, as well as just surveilling and stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at stuff. Normally, I'm looking at that card being like, we get to attack, but I think spacecrafts are actually real. They are good and worth doing. I
Never.
was I was
I
heavy in the
refuse.
camp of they were useless, and I'm mistaken. They are not. They are. I still think the planets kind of suck, but the spacecrafts are worth playing for sure. Not all of them,
Interesting.
obviously, but
Yeah. Yeah. Of
stationing
course.
stationing to turn having a flying attacker ended up being important enough that you're like, ugh, they play that and now it's going to be a big threat later. Okay, I gotta do something. Or then you kind of get in this weird space and like, am I killing their creatures so they can't station it, or do I just wait till it becomes a creature and then I kill that? Like that becomes the
Right.
issue, and it's just like this annoying thing in the back of your mind, especially if it drew them cards or bounced some of your stuff or killed something or whatever. So on the way in. So obviously the ETB spacecraft's much better than the other ones, but I just wanted to point that out. As we move into our miscellaneous picks,
Yes.
I do want to say that I had picked a couple other cards higher up that were my quote unquote best commons, but I decided
Okay.
to switch them out because it would be easier to just talk about the single cards that we had. And I wouldn't have to
Right.
drudge up old history when we were talking about the other cards. So my first miscellaneous card I originally picked as my best white common, but obviously it doesn't really matter because it's going to be on my list no matter
Yeah. Sure.
what
It doesn't matter
what
there's
slot
no
it's in.
additional points for like getting the color
The
correct versus your
exactly in that
miscellaneous
slot.
pick.
Yeah. So I thought that the white common luminary, night luminary. Well, that's hard to say.
Light Numinary.
Yeah, would be pretty good. It is 3 and a white for a 3/2 creature human knight. It says when this creature enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token, and you can warp it for 1 and a white.
Hmm.
So this is we see this card often at like 3 mana. It's like a 2/2 that makes a 1/1, stuff like that. But this is the 4 mana version that makes essentially 2 1/1s if you spend the full 6 mana, I guess.
Yeah.
But the biggest part about this card is that this is a 2 drop and a 4 drop, and it leaves something behind on both situations. And I think that going wide and making your opponent's single target removal is going to be good. And there's a lot of good +1/+1 counter stuff going on, and the green white deck with all the counter things would love to have more little targets to put stuff on. Especially if your opponent's like, okay, I guess I just kill this 3/2, but then you have a 2 or you have a 1/1 or maybe 2 1/1s, and now I have to figure out what to do with those things, and then your opponent can start putting counters on it or whatever, and it starts to be getting out of hand, as
Yeah.
well as being able to warp in and be a 4 power for a station. I think will actually matter.
Yeah,
if you want to quickly station something up easily.
right. Warp and station's really nice together.
It is very nice together.
This is actually kind of hilarious because my miscellaneous picks, I'm not joking. My miscellaneous picks were Intrepid Tenderfoot and Night Luminary.
You got to be kidding me. Okay,
So you literally
that's
just talked about those two cards. So
oh.
those were my pick. Those were my picks. I was like, when you started talking about Intrepid Explorer, I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay, Straddle or Intrepid Tenderfoot. I'm like, yeah, let's
Mhm.
talk about this card. Don't give away that that's my pick. But like,
Well,
I obviously
that's
love that card. And then when you started to say like, oh, white card, whatever, it's actually I was like, no, it's gonna be Night Luminary, man. Like, it has to be. Like, that's the other good white card.
oh
Yeah.
man, I'm sorry. I did not mean to just
No, no, that's
talk.
great. It's great. It's just so funny because you were like talking about the two cards, and I was like, well, those were my picks. So
Yeah. Well, I did not pick the Intrepid Tenderfoot. I think after playing the format, I probably would have, but because I picked these cards beforehand, I did not take it. But Intrepid Tenderfoot did impress me quite a bit when I was in the streamer event.
that's good to know. That bodes well for
Yes.
me.
My other miscellaneous pick, since both of yours have already been talked about, is Virus Beetle. Seeing Virus Beetle come
Oh,
back.
I know I wanted to pick Virus
Hmm.
Beetle. I love Virus Beetle, and I love that you can sack it to artifact sack stuff. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
So for those that don't remember, Virus Beetle is one and a black for a 1/1 artifact creature insect. When it enters, each opponent discards a card. But the fact that it's an artifact in the set, really, really important. Heck Dies in the last set was good, but not its best form because it didn't have any relevant creature types or card types.
yeah,
Virus Beetle does. It helps the blue black decks make more artifacts. They enter and a bunch of things will happen. You get to sacrifice it for a bunch of stuff. It makes the removal that's not interesting in other decks interesting in this deck because you want to sacrifice your Virus Beetle to do different things. All around awesome card. One of my favorite limited cards just in general. That type of card is a lot of fun. And
yeah.
it's going to be very hard for me to see Virus Beetles and not be like, ooh, I should be black. I'm pretty sure. Pretty
Same. And
sure.
it's one of those things. It can only be so bad. Like
Exactly.
there's no way this is the worst black common. You know what I mean? Or even the bottom half. It's
Hmm.
probably in the top three.
Hmm.
And there are formats where it could be number one. You know, like so.
I like to see it.
Maybe not probably in the top three. It's probably in the top five.
Yes, I
And
would say top five, top half, and
yeah,
then I'm hoping that it's probably bunched up there somewhere.
and
I
and
think
it
there's
could
probably going to
find
be.
itself in the top three. Yeah.
It'll probably be like some of the obvious ones that's like Grav Kill and Depressurize, but picking both removal spells seems so stupid to talk about.
Right.
And and then probably
Plays
the
really nicely with Embrace Oblivion. So
that's true. It does it so that could push it above Depressurize. We don't know. But Jeff, let's talk about the gold signpost on commons. I'll give you the floor since I kind of talked over all your cards.
yeah. So this is when I went all over the place. This one was the wildest pick for me. So
Okay.
I wanted to love Interceptor Mechan. You know that I love Gravedigger. I
Hmm.
love Windrake. Cards got slammed together. And then
Yes.
they added a bunch of upside to that. And I was like, I want to, I like that's my pick, whatever. And then I
Hmm.
was like, I feel like maybe I talked myself out of it. I was like, but it doesn't actively help the game plan. Like it doesn't create
Hmm.
void, and the game plan is void.
Hmm.
It like is good in that game plan for sure, and it's just a powerful card. But I kind of second guessed myself and was like, okay, I won't pick it. But I deeply
Yeah.
wanted to pick it.
I mean, it's the payoff for Void, right? This is your all your other cards are set up for
Right,
it,
you go
and then
pick up the thing again, and
hmm
like this thing could goes crazy if you are avoiding every turn.
yeah, you basically
Yeah.
like attack it with a bunch of stuff. There's some trades. You slam this. It's a 3/3. You draw your creature back. Like I get it.
And then I was looking at the blue green one. I was like, okay, it's the old like get a lander token right away and all that. But then I'm like, oh, but part of what I love about um, cards like this, like the Wayfarer, for example, is that like it helps fix your mana when you don't quite get there. And this is
Hmm.
specifically asking you to have green and blue
Yeah.
in the
On turn
early
two.
game.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at a bunch of stuff. So eventually, and I think my picks led credence to this opinion. So I'm telling a cohesive story here.
Gotcha.
But in
Okay.
the end, I picked Halia, Ascendant Cadet,
Hmm.
two green, white, white for a legendary human soldier. When it enters or attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever one or more creatures you control with a counter on them deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. I liked that get value immediately. It's a little
Hmm.
expensive. It's my only concern. Whereas a lot of these other ones are cheap, and cheap cards
Hmm.
just tend to do better at the game in hand win rate mechanic. But I honestly, I think the green white deck looks really, really strong.
Hmm.
And so I picked this one and I think this might be important in that deck as the card, like just a big card advantage engine, like immediately. Um, and so I don't know. I waffled. I thought about picking Omnath, Tanook for a moment, but then I realized that
Oh
it's really
God.
hard to like generate value the turn that Tanic comes into play.
Hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm landing on Halia. I think
Hmm.
green. My outset mentality is that green white is good, and I'm gonna pick this because I think this card looks good too.
Yes.
So I picked Halia.
Halia is definitely, I think, super strong. The funny thing about Halia is that it is a 5 mana 3/3, so it looks like, oh, that's kind of small. But it enters, makes a counter, and when it attacks, it makes a counter. So if you have no other creatures, it attacks as a 5/5. So like
Right.
that's on rate.
And
Um,
then probably draws a card if they can't
mhm,
block it, right?
yeah. Um,
Um,
Also
but it's
super.
funny because when I came in, I was like, I'm not picking one of the expensive ones,
Mhm.
which is
Oh yeah.
Halia and
Mhm.
Servandum. I was like, there's so many cheap ones. Just don't pick the expensive one. And I was like, oh, I think I'm between the two expensive
Oh,
ones. Yeah.
that's really interesting.
So,
I think all the things you said about all the also we have a great crop of these. Like this time around, we only have
oh,
10 cards to look at,
I
and a
know. I
lot of
loved
them are
instead of 20. That was so
yeah.
nice.
20
Yeah.
is hard, but the
Yeah.
10 is a really nice sweet spot. So I like that with this set. We talked a lot about them. I was looking at Seed Ship Brood Tender,
Yeah. I was looking at that one too, obviously.
which a two
It's
mana
like, I
two
love
three
them.
that mills, and then it also lets you sacrifice it late game
Honestly,
to
these are
return
all
something.
solid and like it's
Yeah,
just kind of what color pair is going to be the best.
yeah. I also was looking at the Engineer because that card beat the shit out of me in the. I played against a deck that had three of these, and it was horrendous.
Right, and they're just stationing stuff all over the
Yeah.
place.
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't just okay. So what actually happened to me in that deck was that they had played this card. They also played the spacecraft that uncommon that it's
Mm.
blue. It costs 6 mana and it bounces two non-spacecraft things to their owner's hand. And then they put that rare enchantment that says whenever you make a token of something, you make a copy of the thing that's enchanted with this. They put
Oh
that on the
boy.
spacecraft. So then
Yep.
they just
So
spend 8 mana. They draw two cards, make a 2/2, make a thing that bounces two of my things,
yeah,
and then
you,
the
you
game's
can't
just
beat that
over. Yeah, it was
unless you
horrible.
have like an instant way to break that up.
It
There's
was
just
impossible. It was just the most craziest stupid combo, and it
it's
was
pretty
so.
awesome though.
It was really
That's what
awesome
the
for
streamer
them.
events are for. Stuff
Yes,
like that. Yeah.
but I mean, I was pissed the whole time. But that was very cool that they did that. But no, the card that I picked hasn't been talked about yet, which is very nice. I picked Station Monitor, which is white blue for a 2/2. It's a lizard artificer creature. It says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you create a 1/1 colorless drone artifact creature token with flying, and this token can block only creatures with flying. I really loved the Wingblade Disciple. Is that what it was called from Tokyo
Yeah.
Dragonstorm? And so seeing a card that
That
looks
was
just
three
like
mana,
it
right?
but less. Obviously, that was a 2/2 flyer, and it made tokens that could block. But a 2 mana version sounds really nice, and making
Yeah.
artifact creatures. I'm not gonna like turn my nose up at
I
that.
looked at
That's
this
really
one too. I
nice.
honestly, I think these are all pretty reasonable picks. Like,
Hmm.
I think the only one where I was kind of like meh was the blue black one. It was kind of like
Yeah, I think that really
it doesn't
is the.
really fill in their theme and like doesn't seem to even fit in the deck that they want to build that
Yeah,
well. Uh,
Alfariel, it's like a 3 mana 2/3 that only has Death Touch on your turn, which
but
really ruins Death Touch for me.
but the archetype is control,
Yeah, so you want to be
right? Like it's
blocking.
blue black is a control deck, so it's like I want you to have death touch on my opponent's turn
Hmm.
because I want to block with death touch.
Yeah, it would be much
I
more
don't know, it
interesting if
feels
it
weird.
only had Death Touch on your opponent's turn.
So that was the one where I had a big eyebrow raise. Like this
Hmm.
doesn't seem like it's fits into the deck that it's supposed to be
Yeah,
the signpost for. But
yeah. It obviously it casts what's that card? Thirst for Knowledge when it
right.
enters,
So
where
I
you draw.
guess in that way, it's fine.
It's a creature that
There's
thirsts for knowledge, which is good.
yeah. In
But
artifact control, that's a good card, but it just
yeah,
the like attacking mentality it had was weird to me.
definitely weird, especially because it doesn't have a saboteur ability. Like
Right, yeah. If it was like whenever it hits thirst for knowledge, you'd
cast
be like,
thirst for
"Holy
knowledge.
shit!"
Yeah, but
Windmill
like,
slam this one.
yeah, absolutely. That would be way different if it entered, did nothing, but every time it hit your opponent, it thirsts for knowledge and it has death touch. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
that'd
yeah,
be
that would be.
insane.
Would it be that crazy though? Because
It'd
three
probably be,
mana.
honestly, it'd probably be worse,
Yep,
but I would be way more into
it's true. It's true.
it.
Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, perfect. Great. Pack zero, pick one. Great time. A lot of really close picks for us this time. The biggest changes, like the differences we have that are important to remember. This reminds me a lot of our Tarkir Dragonstorm one.
Right.
Biggest differences are blue picks, where I took Cryo Shatter, you took Cryogenic Relic. You picked Intrepid Tenderfoot, I picked Virus Beetle. It's really going to be down to those ones as well as our signpost, our gold signpost are going
Yeah.
to be huge
Feels
in this
like a
one.
lot's riding on the signpost.
It
But
really
Zach, we're not
does.
quite done
We aren't. We do have
because this could
it.
end up in a tie with all the similar
It
cards chosen.
really could. Because everything's so close. We could end up in a tie. I will go first for my tiebreaker rare.
Okay, I'll just choose the
And
same one as you so that
don't do that again. You did that last time.
I think I picked first last time.
I don't think you did. Anyway,
Check the tape.
I picked a card that is like when you look at all the cards in the set. Also, Jeff, make sure you picked a rare, not a mythic. Just don't forget.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I would never do that. So.
Yeah, that doesn't happen most of the time.
It didn't happen multiple times last time.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure.
But anyway, the rare I'm picking for the best one in the set, the one that you're hoping to draft every time you open a pack, you're like, man, I really hope that I open this card, is Nova Hellkite. It's 3 red for a 4/5 dragon with flying and haste. It says when this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to target creature and opponent controls, and you can warp it for 2 in a red, so you get to haste it out, smash him for 4, kill an X1, and then do it again on turn 5. Sweet card. The one where you're really hoping your opponent doesn't have this freaking thing, because it's very good.
Yeah. So I just picked in an effort to uh, counteract my hatred. I just picked to consult the star charts. And I was
Okay.
like,
All
this
right.
way, if this card dominates, I'll at least get a little something out of it.
All right. All right. Okay.
Fuck this card. But you know what? It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's great. Um, perfect. Well, this is a great pack zero pick one. And honestly, this is what a lot of these are about. It's the nitty gritty little things that I love
Right.
about it.
Yeah. Because we talked last time about like trying to get too weird so we don't pick the same cards as each other. And I think it's a mistake, right? Like we should pick the ones that is like, come on, how am I not going to pick Vanishing Light, but
Yeah.
Night Luminary? These are just great cards. But it's the
Whenever
little differences.
yeah, if you try to get a little too cutesy, it's not competitive, and the competitiveness is what makes it so interesting.
Right.
And
And
so it
there's just
really,
no way I wasn't picking Galactic Wayfarer. Like, there's just, I read that card and I was like, I don't need to read any of the other green commons. This is the one I'm going to pick, but I'll do it.
Yeah, and then you'll pick another green common just to make sure that you
Yeah,
showed up here.
and then I saw Intrepid Tenderfoot. I was like, oh, I kind of like this too,
Hmm.
but I gotta pick Galactic
Yeah.
as my number
You know
one.
what? As I'm looking at Tenderfoot reminds me a little bit about the Scurryfoot from Aether Drift.
All
Obviously,
right. Yeah.
Scurryfoot made a token, which was really important.
Yeah.
But the fact that there were counters going around was really helpful as well. So I don't know. Also, yeah, these counter synergies, big game, man. Like they do so much. You know what's I didn't really think that +1/+1 counters were going to be interesting to me again because they're kind of boring. In general, they're just
Right.
like
They've been
put
around
counters on stuff. They're
forever.
bigger.
Yeah.
But in a world where you're trying to figure out, okay, actually, let's see, can I put counters on these creatures so that I have exactly enough to station this spacecraft and attack
Mm.
with other big creatures on the same turn? It's like, all right, actually, let's put their counters on these ones because that exactly fits to 5. And I already put 3 on this thing. I have to get to 8. Let's put 5 more. We attack with this other big thing and my flying creature now.
Right.
And that actually ends up being important. As much as I hate it, there were too many games that came down to, well, a flying attacker would be really bad, and their stupid station or spacecraft. I keep calling them stations, like space
Station
stations.
is the mechanic. Yeah.
I know, but like, I wish that it was just called a space station instead of a
Mm.
spacecraft. Like, I know space stations are more like towns or whatever, and they're
You don't
not really like,
attack with a space station. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, some of these space stations are crazy. Whatever. But they ended up being much more important. And so I actually, instead of being like, I'm never picking these, it was like, okay, I should put these, like two
Yeah,
of these
probably
in my
gonna
deck.
slide these in.
Which, like, like, obviously some of them are stone unplayable. And some of them are like, okay. But if it enters
Yeah.
and does something, you should probably just put it in your deck anyway.
And then it lets you use other what attack blocks that would otherwise be wasted, right? Like it happens all the time
Exactly.
that you have a creature that you neither attack nor block with just because of the battle state.
And you know what it
Uh,
is? If you look at the set, there are a ton of 2/3s for 2.
I was gonna say that. I love this set because of all the 2/3s.
Yeah,
You know I
like
love me a good 2/3.
in my set review, I talked about this a lot where I was like, man, the 3 mana 2/3 gone. Now is the days of the 2 mana 2/3, and I love it.
Yeah.
2 mana 2/3
Love.
upside, so good.
And that's why I love the Wayfarer so much. Because like the fact that it's a 3/3 super
Important,
matters.
super
Like
matters. So that is important in the set. The 2/3 aspect of it really kind of screws up some of these aggro decks and makes you want to station because you're like, oh, I'm
yeah.
not going to die to these aggro decks. I could just tap
Not
these
gonna
two
attack
things.
into their army of 2/3s. I'll just
Yeah.
station.
Yeah, not only like if you're aggressive, but also like, well, I have 2/3s and you have 2/3s. I guess I'll tap one of my
Right.
2/3s for my station or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, pretty cool set. Excited to play it more and redeem myself because, well, if you watched my stream, it was pretty brutal. But I got to stop talking about it and start
Hey, what
getting
happens in
better.
the streamer event stays in the streamer event.
I like that attitude. I like it a lot. But anyway, folks, Jeff, do you want to go to last call?
Let's do it.
All right. So tonight we are talking about a beer as we end the show, which we always talk about beers when we end the show. So I don't know why I kind of emphasize that, but we are talking about Iris, this one in particular. We're going to put this on a rating scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this has nothing to do with what tier you are in currently. So don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers are trash. They're horrible. You spit them out, you pour them on the ground. They're disgusting. Ugh.
Silver is basically a bad beer or just boring.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't drink them again.
Platinum is solid. You would totally drink it again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot, and you share them with your friends.
And Mythic, these are the best of the best. These are the consult the star charts of the beer world.
Wow, damn, you are going pretty hard on this card.
It's just so pushed.
It is pushed.
Why
It
is
is
it so
good.
good?
It's so good. All right. Jumping right into Iris, Jeff, you said that this was going to be a really hard beer to beat out some other beers. All I want to know is, did it do it? Could it beat out the other East Coasts? Yeah, not so much.
Not for me. It was fine. I enjoyed it, but like I don't know, it felt a bit I want to say flat, but I don't mean that in like a carbonation context. I just mean
Plain.
yeah, it was just kind of plain. Like it was kind of hazy, I guess. It was a little juicy. Maybe there's some stone fruit in there, but it just kind of tasted like a generic IPA to me. It was I liked it, but I
Yeah.
didn't. Nothing really stood out, and
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't get this again. For me, this was kind of gold.
This was, I agree with you. This is like gold, almost low gold. Nah, okay. I don't want to say low gold, but it was gold for sure because
Yeah.
I know for sure that Slake has other beers I like better.
hmm
Like Slow, and Hatch are two beers that we've had from them that I like much
Hatch
better
was
than
really
this one.
good. Yeah.
Hatch was great. So this one I'll see at the LCBO, and like I'll probably just have to remind myself, no, just instead of getting like, 5 hatches and 1 iris, just get 6
Right.
hatches.
Just get
Like,
6 hatches.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just don't need to. And that'll be kind of what I remember about this beer.
Yeah.
There was something about the first taste that was like great fruity that I didn't actually like. Almost tasted like rind-ish. It was just like fine. It was fine. So
Yeah. I think
not my favorite.
fine, but won't drink again is basically like the
Exactly.
definition of this beer to me.
Yeah.
So
So we got a gold beer this evening. Oh well, that's fine.
it happens.
It does happen. But let's go to closing time, Jeff. As always, you can reach us at Arena Regulars on Instagram and Blue Sky.
You may also find us on MTG Arena itself under the username Arena Regulars Podcast.
If you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at the regular _ Zach on Instagram and TikTok, as well as all the other places. I'm regular Zach. You can find my YouTube channel and Twitch. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is our Discord channel. The link for that is in the show notes, but it's a great place to share deck lists, especially with a new standard rotation. Tell us what you're working on. Tell us what you're playing. Show us your draft wins. And hey, show us your draft bad beats too. We'll be there to console you about those. And we once a month throw a draft ourselves. It's an arena peasant draft, which means you get to use those common and uncommon wild cards that I know you have stashed away there. And it's a really well designed cube. It's super fun. It's a great time. Happens once a month again. And once again, the link is in the show notes.
Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. We always love to hear what everyone has to say about the show and love the feedback. But honestly, we just want to talk to you folks. So coming to the Discord is the best place to do that. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that no matter what you might see out there, Edge of Eternities is the new set that's dropping this weekend, and you should focus on that because it actually seems pretty cool.
Good night. All right, that's fine.